better technique because 50-50. If 12 rounds, Crawford win, I think.
Anyone that thinks Crawford has a chance is a complete idiot. They have weight classes for a reason.
Too big? Too skilled?
Way too big, way too skilled.
He win? Can he beat him? Can he beat Canelo? Is his skill so much that he's able to bridge the weight classes?
He has a legitimate chance. Over 60% for his mind. If you say, Bernard, give me a number.
Give me a number.
He has an 85+ chance to beat Canelo.
The world is split right down the middle. Can Canelo's power crush Crawford? Or will Crawford's skill shock the boxing world? Legends, champions, and trainers are all taking sides, but only one will be right. This fight isn't just boxing, it's history in the making. Experts are already sharing their thoughts on the upcoming mega clash between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. Israel Madrimov believes that if the fight goes all 12 rounds, Crawford could have the edge because of his sharp power, high ring IQ, and ability to adapt under pressure. Still, Madrimov admits it's not an easy fight to call. Canelo's size, strength, and experience make this a very dangerous matchup. At this point, many see it as a true 50-50 battle.
If 12 rounds, Crawford win, I think.
Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, what do you think about that fight if they did fight? Looks like it's up for September.
Good fight. You know, if 168 pounds, I think it's Canelo, but it's Canelo better technique because 50-50. If 12 rounds, Crawford win, I think. If knockout, it's Canelo.
What makes Crawford so difficult to fight against?
He has power, smart, in more practical.
He has more experience. He's very experienced.
When talk of Canelo versus Crawford first began, most people quickly picked Canelo as the clear favorite. The reasoning was simple. Canelo has spent years dominating bigger weight classes, while Crawford was only moving up from welterweight. At first glance, the matchup looked one-sided. But as training camp footage of Crawford came out, opinions started to change. He looked faster, stronger, and very comfortable at his new weight. Instead of being overpowered, Crawford showed that he could carry his skills into a bigger division. This quick shift in perception shows how fast the boxing world can change when fans see real evidence of preparation.
Grounds to stand on. Now, the other second point that I think is becoming a fact is this. This fight was initially kind of a one-sided credited fight, where if Terence Crawford beats Saul Canelo Alvarez, he's on a Mount Rushmore. If Saul Canelo Alvarez beats Bud Crawford, it's kind of like, of course. But now the Bud Buddies has gone across all of social media and attacked social media so impactfully, like a plague, that now it's starting to give more value if Saul Canelo Alvarez wins. And let me tell you what I mean. You cannot tell everybody they're haters and they're stupid for thinking Canelo wins and say, hey, y'all gonna find out come September 13th how great Bud Crawford is. And you speak Crawford up, you say, yeah, you said the same thing about Spence and Crawford that beat all these. You just don't know. You have all these all-time great fighters saying that Crawford wins. So come September 14th, if Saul Canelo Alvarez has beaten Crawford or destroyed him, you can't take it back. You're going to have to be like, Saul Canelo Alvarez is on Mount Rushmore, right? I mean, you can't go this heavy all over social media and then in which social media controls media. So it's everything. You can't flood social media like this and just wave after wave talk about how Bud is going to whoop Canelo and forget boots and all the preparation, all that stuff. And then if Canelo wins, you don't have the same energy.
Rolly Romero represents the skeptics who insist weight cannot be dismissed.
On the other hand, Rolly Romero represents the skeptics. He strongly believes weight cannot be ignored. Boxing has divisions for a reason, to keep fights fair. Romero argues that no matter how talented Crawford is, moving up so many weight classes is extremely risky. History shows that fighters who climb too far often pay the price against naturally bigger opponents. In Romero's eyes, Crawford's brilliance at 147 does not guarantee success at 168, especially against someone like Canelo, who has ruled the super middleweight division for years.
We got Canelo, we got Terence Crawford. That's going to happen in the fall. It's going to happen here in Sin City, your hometown. How do you feel about that matchup?
Anyone that thinks Crawford has a chance is a complete idiot. They have weight classes for a reason.
Too big? Too skilled?
Way too big, way too skilled. And this isn't a skill matchup. It has nothing to do with skill. It has to do with weight.
Boxing legend Bernard Hopkins takes a different view. Hopkins gives Crawford an 85% chance to win, which shocked many fans. He praises Crawford's intelligence, patience, and tactical awareness, saying these tools could frustrate Canelo. Hopkins believes Crawford's ability to adapt mid-fight, even switching stances with ease, is his biggest strength. He knows from experience that physical disadvantages can be beaten with the right game plan. By giving Crawford such a high chance, Hopkins suggests this fight isn't an uphill climb but an opportunity for Crawford to prove greatness.
Does he win? Can he beat him? Can he beat Canelo? Is his skill so much that he's able to bridge the weight classes?
He has a legitimate chance. Over 60% for as my, if you say, Bernard, give me a number.
Give me a number.
He has an 85+ chance to beat Canelo. Why? He's not going in there to prove something, which will fall into Canelo's hand. He would love for him to prove something. That means you will stay there and try to prove something. But to go in there and to let him know, establish that from the first round, that I belong without showing that I am tough. I earned my position to be here. And I want to show you, even though you're being stubborn, that your time not only have came, but it's gone. He ain't going to surrender and say, I slowed up, so I'm going to act like it. No, he has to be shown. And it has to be early.
David Benavidez, a top fighter at super middleweight, disagrees. He sides with Canelo, pointing out that Canelo has fought and beaten strong opponents at 168 for years. In his view, Crawford is stepping into unknown territory, while Canelo is completely comfortable there. Benavidez doesn't see this as disrespect toward Crawford's skills, but simply a reality of experience and size. For him, the difference between a natural super middleweight and a smaller man moving up is too big to ignore.
David Benavidez is choosing Canelo Alvarez to win over Terence Crawford. With that said, David Benavidez has finally given a straight and probably his final prediction for this fight, with him choosing Canelo Alvarez. Now, Benavidez, however, made it perfectly clear that despite him choosing Canelo Alvarez over Terence Crawford, this doesn't necessarily mean that he's actually rooting or backing up Canelo Alvarez. In an interview posted on the Raw World of Boxing YouTube channel, David Benavidez explained that Terence Crawford, who's pretty much jumping 3 weight divisions in comparison to Canelo, who Benavidez views as a natural super middleweight, will be this fight's biggest deciding factor. Once again, Benavidez clarified that he's not saying that he wants Canelo to win. However, given the circumstances, his prediction is fueled by the weight division argument and not by his emotional or personal views regarding Canelo or Terence Crawford.
Former champion Tim Bradley looks at the fight in another way. He believes Crawford is the superior technician who can outthink and outmaneuver Canelo. Bradley stresses that Crawford's ability to make adjustments during a fight is unmatched. He feels Canelo's slower pace could be exposed by Crawford's speed and versatility. Bradley doesn't hold back. He predicts that Crawford's intelligence and precision will overwhelm Canelo inside the ring.
Yo, real quick, just got done. I woke up 3 a.m. I don't know, someone told me to study Canelo, study Crawford. Crawford about to beat the shit out of Canelo Alvarez. I'm letting y'all know right now, he about to beat the brakes off of Canelo Alvarez. Yes, he is.
Brian Bomac McIntyre, Crawford's longtime trainer, also dismisses the size concerns. He argues that while Canelo fights at higher weights, he is not the biggest man in the division. Bomac sees him more as a compact fighter who relies on skill and timing rather than pure size. From this perspective, the weight difference between Canelo and Crawford isn't as large as people claim. Having trained Crawford for years, Bomac is confident that Crawford has the tools to match anything Canelo brings.
Walk around big any goddamn way.
Right. Yeah. Now, Canelo is the bigger guy, right? But
he ain't the bigger guy.
That's what they say. They say he's wider, he's got more mass. How are you feeling about Bud going in there taking on Canelo's power?
But shit, I don't give a fuck about that power. Well, how you beat power?
Speed.
You said what?
Speed.
And what else?
IQ.
Timing.
That's why you're the coach and I'm not.
I mean, you make some good, you got some good answers, but that power ain't gonna be able to sustain throughout the fight. Watch. And he usually slows down between 6 and 7. You slow down, that's a fucking rat.
That's what
Renowned trainer Robert Garcia also sides with Crawford. For him, boxing is not only about size but about skill. He reminds fans that history has many examples of fighters who used superior technique to beat bigger men. Garcia says Crawford's patience, timing, and ring control are exactly what it takes to beat Canelo. In his opinion, this fight will prove that intelligence and skill can be stronger than size.
What are your thoughts on Canelo versus Crawford? Highly anticipated fight, quickly approaching.
I know a lot of people are not very excited about that fight, and they think the size difference, huge difference. But Crawford's big, man. Crawford's a very strong fighter. He's a very smart fighter also. So look, the way Canelo's been fighting his last couple of fights, where he's just looking for one punch at a time and maybe not doing enough to hurt his opponents, maybe not doing enough to finish them off. I could see Crawford pulling it off.
Decision?
I think Crawford could pull off a decision because he's fast, he's smart, and he doesn't need to run. He could stay around Canelo and just pretty much focus on winning a decision. Because I don't think he could knock out Canelo, but he could definitely win a decision.
Marcus Brown provides an inside look at Crawford's preparation. He points out that Crawford doesn't just spar with fighters his size. Instead, he often chooses bigger opponents, even heavyweights, to test his strength and sharpen his reflexes. Brown says this makes Crawford well prepared for Canelo's power. He won't be shocked by heavy punches because he's already faced them in the gym. This experience builds not just physical toughness, but also mental confidence. Brown believes this is why Crawford's move up in weight won't be as difficult as people think.
Just two more questions for you, man. Just would love to get your thoughts on, we got the mega fight, the big fight, Crawford, Canelo. Crawford said forget all that, catch weight and anything like that. You're going straight up to 168. What do you think about that? How much of a chance do you give him? Or who do you favor in that fight?
I got love for both of them. I like both of them. I'm a fan of both of them, but I'm going with Crawford. Typically fighters, they don't want to say who they want to go for because they don't want to be biased. Yeah. And much respect to Canelo, but I'm going Bud.
Is there a particular reason why? Like, you're a guy that's moved up in weight, so you know exactly what it feels like to get hit by these bigger guys. Is that something that's gonna play in the back of his head? Like,
of course,
gotta watch out.
It is, but it's not, because at the end of the day, it's not like he just been in there, got in there with somebody bigger than him. He's always probably been sparring with bigger guys. You know what I'm saying? It's that boxing IQ, which William Skull didn't put up no fight, but he showed somewhat of a blueprint to get this guy, in a space where he's confused.
Yeah.
And he can't touch the target that's in front of him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I just think Bud got that IQ.
Is that the same thing that you do in your fights? Because, like you said, your last fight was in 2023. That was your first time moving up. Obviously, you beat the guy pretty easily. But is that something where you just like, I know I can beat this guy, I know I got the skills, but he's a little bit of a bigger guy than me. I gotta...
Right. Because this sport is about, hitting and not getting hit, swimming without getting wet, and taking the least amount of punishment. So, you gotta just, be smart and crafty in it.
Just last one for you. And I know you said you gotta be smart, crafty, and things like that. But I know you're also like a really prideful guy. Like I know a couple people that know you in Staten Island, and they always tell me, Mark's is a cool guy, a real prideful guy, never wants to lose at anything. You pick it. Motherfucker want to win at the
I hate losing more than I love winning.